Dude, are you trying to say Marxism is more attacked than Nazism now? All right, bro. That's kind of wild.
1000% Marxism has been more subverted, attacked, and maligned by the government, by the hegemony, than neo-Nazism in America.
Yeah, is that because they already defeated Nazis and they like Russia is an economic power? So in the same way how they
No, that's
go against
because they
Iran,
appointed. That's because they appointed Nazis to be the head of
no,
NATO.
in the same way how they go against Iran, not because Iran is Muslim, because they do business with Saudi Arabia. They go after these countries because they're regional economic powers who could pose a threat to the U.S. hegemony. It's not because
nothing has the U.S. has never fought as aggressively it has against anything except communism.
No, because it's Russia and it's China, two regional fucking potential superpowers.
Do you know what the FBI is?
Yes.
What's the origin of the FBI? Why was it created?
You're gonna say to contain the communist threat.
That's correct. Before communism, there was no FBI. Before the government perceived a communist threat, before the ruling class perceived a communist threat, we didn't even have an FBI. So yes, there is nothing the U.S. government has fought as aggressively as it has fought communism. Nothing compares.
Yeah, but it's not because of communism.
Yes, it is.
It's because
yes, it is.
How, dude? Economic fucking disputes take precedence.
So it's because communism. So it's because communism. So it's because communism.
Dude, the United States will attack anyone who represents. Dude, that's why they went after Libya, Gaddafi, a different economic order.
Gaddafi was a socialist who was funded by the USSR and would not have existed without the USSR. Next question.
Okay, so you agree it's because of economic realities that
communism is an economic phenomena. It's a class war, dude. What do you think communism is? Just an ideal?
Dude, but the point is they're going after these countries they just happen to be communists. If they were anything else...
No, they don't just... That's where you get it wrong. It's not a coincidence that they were communists. That's what you're not understanding. It's absolutely not a coincidence these were communist countries. There's a reason they were communist. There's a reason people who challenged the status quo successfully were communist. That's what you don't get. There is a reason for that, dude.
What's the reason?
The reason is actually superficial. It's because communists create a dictatorship of the proletariat which undermines the interests of the international capitalist class and fights against those interests by defending the sovereignty of their own countries on the basis of the creation of sovereign proletarian dictatorships, which take the resources of the country and put it in the hands of the common interest instead of the international capitalist class.
Okay, so Hitler and the West went after him. Okay, cool story.
At what point did the West go after Hitler? Please, let's do a history lesson.
So World War II wasn't a thing according to you?
What was the year they went after Hitler? Can you name it?
They went to war in 1939.
When did Hitler come to power?
1933.
When did Hitler acquire political significance in Germany?
Bro, it doesn't matter. The whole world
Name it. Name the year. Name the year. Name the year you think. Was it the beer hall push? Just name it. Anything.
1931.
Okay, you're saying 1931. Sure. Okay, let's work with that. What did the West do to confront Hitler before 1939?
Okay, you're gonna say they appeased him. They didn't.
No, I'm asking you what they did to confront him before 1939. Go ahead.
Okay, dude, that doesn't negate the fact that they went to war with him. You understand that, right?
I'm asking you what they did to confront Hitler before 1939.
They're gonna just randomly start a war. Like,
all right. We can move on to another question. When did the communists take power in Russia?
Bro, you're the communist. You give me the history lesson. Bolshevik Revolution.
Do you know the year?
1917.
That was the year that the Allies invaded Russia and started funding the White Army and doing everything in their power to overthrow the Bolshevik government. That was the same year. It happened right away.
Okay.
1918 was the official invasion, but before then, right within the few months, they started mobilizing to destroy the Bolshevik government through their agents and funding the White Army and organizing it. Right away. Hitler takes power in 1933. Nothing happens to him.
You're dancing around the fact that
I'm not dancing around anything, sir.
Hitler had a revolution of the proletariat, as you put it, and the whole Western Hemisphere decided to crush Nazism.
How exactly did Hitler have a proletarian revolution, as I would put it?
Did he not nationalize?
Nothing. Not a single thing. Nothing. As a matter of fact, he privatized everything. He didn't. Not only did he not nationalize, he empowered the industrial cartels that were created by Wall Street to pay debts, to continue paying debts to the Bank of International Settlements, so to such a profound degree that even during the height of the war, World War II, Wall Street executives were sitting on the board of IG Farben and the major German industrial cartels. That's how private they were. They weren't just private in terms of private German capitalists. They were literally controlled by international private capital, even during World War II.
Okay. So, even if that's all true, right, the whole Western Hemisphere still went against Hitler. Like, the war happened. That was the thing.
Let's talk about the war, if you don't want to talk about examples that destroy your point in your argument. But let's talk about the war.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't, though. Because, okay, then explain why they would go to war with Hitler if he was somehow an agent of the British. Explain that. Give an answer.
Why did they wait till 1939? Why did they do nothing to stop? Why did they even help him before then?
So you're saying because Germany had economic realities that involved the existing financial capital monopoly prior to Hitler.
So I'll actually explain everything for you.
Okay.
Germany invades Czechoslovakia. What does he do?
Go ahead.
He takes all the gold. Who helps him transfer the gold? The Bank of England. They approve of the transfer of all the gold from Czechoslovakia. And the Nazis took it. When the Nazis invaded Eastern Europe, what were they doing?
Let you talk, bro.
Sorry?
I'm letting you talk, bro.
Okay. Would you agree the primary target of the Nazis was Eastern Europe and Russia?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You would agree that's where the majority of the fighting happened, the majority of the mobilization of troops was happening, right? Because France wasn't really a fight, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So until 1941, when the Soviet Union gets involved, in what way were the English actually fighting the Nazis? Were they like sending a huge bunch of troops into Eastern Europe and undermining Nazi activities there to a huge significant extent? Where was the majority of the fighting taking place?
Okay, Haas. Enough of this fucking obfuscation. What do you think the British role was with?
I'll explain it to you exactly.
No, just explain it right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Because the British could not fully control Eastern Europe politically and had to maintain the veneer of diplomatic relations and ties to these various countries like Poland and others. They couldn't exactly do what they wanted to do, which was loot all of the wealth and the gold from Eastern Europe, transfer it to themselves, in part so they could pay the Americans back for their debt during World War II, but mainly so they could reorder the European and consolidate the European continent as a whole, because they undermined Germany's control of it after World War II, and they wanted to take that control, but didn't have the means to do it. So Hitler was sent there to completely cause devastation, wreak havoc, and completely cause death and destruction. Meanwhile, the British, who had treaty obligations to defend Poland and other countries, for example, didn't really lift much of a finger to stop Hitler's eastward activities or encroachments up until and he invaded the USSR. And not at a single point during that war, after he invaded the USSR, did the West deign to open up a second front. If they were interested in if the whole Western Hemisphere was united against Hitler, they would have opened up a second front, which is what Stalin repeatedly told Churchill and Roosevelt to do over and over again.
They teamed up with Stalin. Don't forget that. It wasn't just
No. They did not do that because they didn't open a second front. That's why the Soviets bore the entire brunt of the actual war, and the skirmishes, which is what they were, and the German officers, the way they describe the battles they had with the English, are fundamentally different from how they do with the Soviets.
So Haas,
because that was a gentleman's squabble. That wasn't a fucking war.
Your position is that Hitler was a British agent.
Why didn't Hitler invade England?
Because Hitler ideology.
He had the means to do it. Hold on. He had the means to land troops on England, invade it, and take it. He didn't dare do that. Why didn't he do it? He was writing letters to Stalin before Operation Barbarossa, making a million different excuses about why he can't do it.
Dude, he did not view the British as his enemy.
Okay. There we go. Thank you. He did not view the British as his enemy because they weren't his enemy. His enemy were the Bolsheviks, the Asiatic Bolsheviks.
The British people were not his enemy. The British ruling class, sure,
So what is it? Was everyone in Eastern Europe and Russia Hitler's enemy?
Dude,
the people?
Have you not read fucking Hitler's writings? He viewed the British as like a cousin of Germany. So he viewed them as.
I agree. You're right. You're right. So we agree.
Yeah.
The whole Western Hemisphere didn't unite against Hitler because they weren't enemies.
But that doesn't mean that the ruling class, that Hitler was like an agent of the British ruling class. His reservation to go to war.
He demonstrably was, in the most accurate definition of the word agent. He was literally an agent of their interests and fulfilling and carrying out their interests in continental Europe. To the point where after the phony Nazi regime collapses, the Western powers swoop in, retain all of the infrastructure created by it, retain the military apparatus of coercion and control, retain its economic structures, retain all of the concentrations of gold that it had looted, and funneled them into international offshore banks to finance the Cold War. And there you have the history of the whole damn thing. So
Hitler inherited an economic system that pre-existed prior to him. Like, that does not mean
he didn't just inherit it. He bolstered it, strengthened it, and provided the mechanism of political dictatorship, which democracy could not do, so that its interests could be fulfilled better than it was before. Germany's economy was created by Wall Street.
This is some revisionist history. Dude.
No, it's not. Germany's major industrial cartels were venture capitalist enterprises created by Wall Street in the late 20s.
And
to help pay off the debt.
Stalin, Russia had no economic benefit. They didn't receive economic aid from the West at all during the war. None of that happened, right? According to you.
It was very minuscule and insignificant.
So wouldn't Stalin count more as an agent because he actually legitimately received aid to fight Hitler, to crush Hitler? Like that actually happened, right? Like that
it was such a small and negligible amount. It's not even worth mentioning.
Bro, like the fact that you are dying on this hill that Hitler was an agent of the British is just
I think can I provide a hypothesis of why you're dying on this hill? I presented you a lot of facts that clearly point in the direction of this being a very reasonable and even correct perspective. But the reason that you're not willing to accept it is because it's not credible on an authoritative level within the community that you're a part of. It's not.
Pause, man. You're still on about that shit,
Okay, let me mute you. You're like, bro, none of the boys say that shit. If I said that to the boys, I get clowned on. That's not something we say, dude. We don't say that, dude. It's not like a popular take, dude. I didn't ask you if it's popular. I asked you if it was true or not. We're debating it on the merits of truth or falsehood, not on the merits of whether it's politically convenient to you in whatever Telegram or whatever group chat you're in. I don't really care. I'm not saying that it's like this is what the boys are saying. I don't care what they're fucking saying. Those people are a bunch of fucking idiots. That's why they don't get in my VC and debate me, because I would floor any one of them. So let's be clear. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. First of all, what you're saying just doesn't make sense. Like, just look at it freaking logically. How is the British and the West going to war against Hitler? How does that? How in your convoluted mind does it prove that Hitler is an agent? It just doesn't, like, reality BTFOs you. And
That itself, by itself, is not what proves that he's an agent. What proves that he was an agent is he was being backed by Royal Dutch Shell as early as the 1920s. What proves that he was an agent is that Germany was continuing to pay back its loans to the Bank of International Settlements well into the 1940s. What proves that he was an agent actually is that German capitalists and industrialists are actually the ones that are behind his rise to power, and they were fundamentally tied to Wall Street and Anglo-American interests, specifically Anglo interests, if we're being honest. What proves that he was an agent is that the British royal family itself were open admirers of Adolf Hitler, as long with the rest of the British aristocracy and the ruling class. What proves that he was a British agent is that he fulfilled all of the aims the British wanted to fulfill, but couldn't directly do for reasons of geopolitical and political convenience. What proves that he's a British agent is all of the gold that he looted was transferred into an international network, shadow network of British banks, offshore banks, used to finance the Cold War to try and destroy communism. What proves that he was an agent of the British is that his fundamental mission, and this was in Mein Kampf, was to destroy the first proletarian dictatorship in the history of mankind, where for the first time the exploited and the oppressed were in charge over the oppressors and the exploiters. These are the things that prove it. As for how that can be reconciled with the fact that Britain and America were at war with Germany on a formal level, we need to look at what they were actually doing during that war, and whether what their actions reflected a genuine opposition to Hitler's plans, or whether it was just maintaining a veneer to reap the benefits of everything Hitler does in the aftermath, preferably that he destroys the USSR, then swoop in and fix things how they wish to it. To be clear, I don't think in the long term the British wanted Hitler to be in power forever. They saw him as a retarded clown, that they wanted to use him in the short term, that he's a patsy and they're going to discard him after he does the dirty work they want him to do. To be clear. Go ahead.
So your position is just because capitalists do capitalist things, therefore Hitler is an agent. Doesn't the United
that's
States,
it. That's all it is. Yeah.
Doesn't the United States still buy fucking shit from Russia? Does that mean the Russia is and Vladimir?
I'm not limiting. The accusation is not founded upon the mere fact that there's economic relationships of trade going on.
That's literally your whole point.
No.
Capitalists do capitalist things.
Okay, well, look, I'm not going to insult my audience by repeating myself. I advise you to, after the stream is done, remember this exact timestamp and go back about 35 seconds, and you will see very clearly that the things I mentioned are not about trade between different countries. But go ahead.
So Hitler wanting to do certain things to maintain his country's economic standing within the existing powers somehow.
How does
instead of it being pragmatism?
I just have one question. Why didn't he wipe out all the debt if that was his goal? If his goal was to look out for Germany's best economic interests,
I mean, in his writings, did he not plan to do a lot of those things?
Did he do them or no?
I mean, like, he had to contend with he had an idea the war was coming, so he had to, he had other priorities, but that was
how does it make sense to continue paying debt to your so-called enemies while you're fighting them?
Because of deals, because of how the economy works. He can't just decide, dude. He can't just decide to just say, "All right, fuck everything else. Like, I'm just gonna do my own thing." Like,
but that's what the Bolsheviks did. But the Bolsheviks did that.
No, they didn't. The Bolsheviks were still doing business with the West.
On day one of the revolution, the Bolsheviks literally canceled all foreign debt, like right away, overnight. Hitler couldn't even
source.
Look it up. Hitler couldn't even nationalize a single one of these venture capitalist cartels. He couldn't even forgive a fraction of the debt, wipe out a fraction of it. They continued paying all of it. Isn't that crazy? And the Bolsheviks just overnight just said, yeah, we're not going to pay shit back to France or anyone. You're fucked. Fuck you. And they took over everything, by the way. All the oil that was controlled by the British, all the natural resources that all these international capitalists control, they just took it, like, right away, overnight.
Hitler could just say, fuck the West. I'm just going to, like,
yeah,
do my own thing.
But the Bolsheviks did it. Why couldn't he do it?
Bro, because the Bolsheviks was not as advanced economically.
But they beat him in the war. But they beat him in the war.
Yeah, because the whole world went against Hitler. like everyone went against this one guy.
But how is it that the reason...
And he almost won.
So you're attributing the Bolshevik victory because Britain and America decided to barely get involved?
No, Hitler made some military blunders for sure, but...
No, let's be clear. The Bolsheviks were the victors, and he was the loser. And that's the simple fact.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, let's move back to the current topic
right.
we're discussing.
Let's move back.
Because you just lost that, dude. Like,
all right, sure.
You really think Hitler was an agent? Like, that's just funny to me.
Bro,
like, there's
bro. You got the whole squad in my Groiper group chat. Bro, you got the whole squad in my group chat laughing at that. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? That wasn't approved by the authority. Hitler was an agent of the British? That's just like not a thing we say, dude. It's like totally not the vibe. That's just like totally not something we say amongst ourselves. Therefore, it's such a ridiculous thing to say because it's just totally not something we believe. Never mind why we believe it or don't believe it. It's just totally not something we say. Therefore, I'm going to laugh nervously. But do you have an argument? Go ahead.
Dude, I just gave you like 10 arguments
sure,
of
but
why it would be the pragmatic position for a state leader to work with the global fucking economic situation.
Why was it? How could it have been pragmatic if he lost in the end? That's the question.
I mean, Hitler wasn't betting on losing, right? He was planning to win.
But he did lose, right? It doesn't matter what he was betting on.
But like you're retrospectively looking back and saying, "Oh, he should have done this," but from Hitler's vantage point, he did what he thought was best.
Sorry, you're claiming that Hitler did these things not because he was beholden to the interests of the German ruling class and the international ruling class, but because he believed it was pragmatic. I just find that hard to fathom because. How, from any rational perspective, can someone conclude those were pragmatic decisions? How is it pragmatic to continue paying debt to your enemies that you're fighting a so-called war of annihilation with?
What? Dude, the United States is against Russia, but doesn't Russia still do business with the United States? Like, what are you talking about? There are economic realities. Like you said, it wasn't even like a...
I can promise you something. War. If Russia and the U.S. went to war, Russia would not be paying debts to anyone in the U.S. ever.
Okay, but when Hitler was doing all those economic dealings...
They were not dealings. They were not deals.
They were not... Dude, Haas, they were not... It was the continuation... It was the continuation of
this guy will join the hell dive.
It was a continuation of the policy of the financial rape of Germany after World War I that he was continuing. Which you know why I know it wasn't pragmatic? Because he promised the contrary. The Nazis promised they're going to nationalize everything, they're going to cancel all the debt. That was their campaign platform. So was that was just pragmatic too, just to lie?
I mean, he definitely did some shit, bro. Like,
he did some shit, and it was all gay. That's the shit he was doing.
Dude, how's your funny, man? Oh my god.
He was definitely doing some stuff with Ernest Röhm and whatever, but I don't know what that's besides the point.
Wait, you think the communists weren't gay, bro?
I know they weren't.
Yes, they were, bro.
Okay. Well, look, you can believe whatever you want, but the truth is, you have no argument about
dude,
the facts of the matter.
I gave you 10 arguments. You're just saying, nope, he's still an agent. Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Why didn't he act in a... Okay, that's like saying, why doesn't Trump do this or that? Dude,
No, I do say that. I do say that. Why doesn't Trump do this?
Yeah,
I want him to.
There are economic realities that, like...
No, there aren't. That's fake and made up.
Bro.
That's just fake and made up. You can literally...
How is it fake and made up, bro?
Because the Bolsheviks literally just did it.
No, they didn't, bro.
Yeah, they straight up did. It's actually that easy to do it. If you have the working class and the masses behind you, you can literally do anything you want.
Yeah, but the Bolsheviks started at a completely... Dude, the Bolsheviks...
They started in a way worse position. You're right. They started
at an agrarian society.
Right, a way worse position. You're right. They started in a way worse position.
So they
that
were
made
not
it a lot harder for them to do what they did.
They were not as clamped down with the economic realities of Germany.
What are you talking about? If the Bolsheviks had a fraction of what Germany had, they would have done what they did without any of the trouble.
I mean, it's easy to say.
It was harder. Like, it was harder for them to do what they did.
You could just say that right now, right? Like,
yeah,
that's
because it's true.
No, it isn't. If the Bolsheviks if Stalin or they inherited the same economic conditions that Germany had, they would still have to play ball with the West. Like,
not only would they not play ball with the West, they would have popped that ball like a balloon and literally suffocated the Queen and King of England to death with it and their children with that ball. They would have probably conquered the entire fucking world, and we would have been living in communism.
So now Stalin is a Trotskyist, right?
I'm not saying it directly. They would have invaded the world, but I mean, probably Europe. Yeah, if the Bolshevik Revolution happened in Germany, we would be living in communism right now.
No, we wouldn't.
Yes, we would. We would be living under a communist dictatorship right now. No, and just none of this would exist. I wouldn't even exist as a streamer. I would probably be
thoughts on China being the fascist Hitler wet dream.
Yeah, that's what Keith Wood said, and he's your authority, so I understand why you believe that. It's just not true. That from Keith Wood.
That's just common sense.
It's definitely not common sense.
China is a freaking ethno-nationalist state that puts the interests of the collective over the economic interests of the collective over corporations.
Yeah, China's It's not only a nation state, but it's an ethno-nation state.
Are they not like 98% Han Chinese?
No.
Okay, but like they're majority Han Chinese.
But see, you're really underselling that 10% because there's over 1 billion people. So put that 10% in perspective. That's 100 million people. That's more than the population of major nation states today.
Okay, but there's still a majority homogeneous population.
That's not really true because the Han ethnicity is formed by a continual...
You just argue against reality, right, bro, and your audience eats it up.
I have to mute the wild animal, all right? He's not very professional. The reason that's a misleading characterization is because the Han ethnicity is not based on ethnic exclusivity. It's actually based on the continual integration of ethnic minorities and the assimilation of different economic minorities at the periphery, and this long-term process is what has produced the Han as a unique ethnicity. It's not an ethnicity that was formed on the basis of excluding others, asserting an identity to the exclusion of all others. All it means to be Han is to be sufficiently urbanized within the Chinese civilization, where everyone more or less speaks Han Chinese, but when that's all you speak, and you're fully, let's call it socialized or urbanized, you're just part of the Han now. And at no point does everyone become Han, because they can't maintain a position of continual recognition of others who are different, suspended in a continual state of interactivity and mutual recognition with them. And it's precisely this process that creates proper integration and assimilation, because eventually, people by their own will and according to their own conditions assimilate. Not forced to. It's just a process of Chinese civilization. The Han are not a tribe. The Han is not some parochial ethnic identity. Han identity is an ethnicity, it's an ethnogenesis formed on the basis of mutual interaction between different peoples united by one empire and civilization. The same thing is true for the Russians. So what you're talking about is nonsense, actually. China's not, first of all, before we talk about whether China is fascist, the notion that it's an ethno-state is just ridiculous. Because Han as an ethnicity, first of all, even if we neglect the over 100 million non-Han people, Han as an ethnicity is not the same as the Aryan or racial identity that the Germans or the Italians or whatever were trying to construct for themselves. Go ahead.
That whole Aryan thing, wasn't that like Western propaganda?
No, the Nazi swastika was based on the notion that this is an ancient Aryan symbol.
Did Hitler actually consider them to be superior than like, I haven't read like Minecraft or anything, so
Hitler believed that because the West industrialized before the rest of the world, that
but
this
within the Nazis army
Okay.
there were like different ethnicities, no?
right, but they were never like integrated into German society and given equal rights and given the right to become Germans. So they were just used as attack dogs.
So wait, Haas, why are you against fascism in terms of concrete, like in terms of economic solutions? Like it offers economic solutions that benefit the working class. No,
No, it doesn't.
how not?
Because all fascism does is maintain existing monopoly capital and enforces the
Okay, let's say Hitler, because first of all, I don't really believe you saying Hitler never tried to nationalize various different
didn't. He
industries.
didn't.
But let's say Hitler did plan to do that. Would you then have a problem with him still?
So let's say Hitler was SpongeBob SquarePants, a completely different person.
I knew you'd say some shit like that.
Because you're talking about a different person. That way he wouldn't be Hitler then. He may as well be SpongeBob SquarePants then.
Oh my god, dude. So you're not gonna take his writings, like his personal writings, as indicative of his position or worldview?
No, I focus on what he did, not what he said.
Okay, so I guess fuck Marx then. Fuck communism. Because what did Marx do? Sit down fat as fuck and die? Like what the hell?
Yeah, because Marx, a great thinker, and most would call him a philosopher, he would reject that label. That Marx didn't pretend to be a fucking political leader, you idiot. That's all Hitler had going for him, was claiming to be a leader. So what a stupid ass argument you're making.
Yeah, so you should use Hitler's writings because
But Hitler wasn't a theorist or an intellectual. That's not what he's known for. He's known for what he actually did. His writings actually were just him saying, yeah, I should take charge and be whatever. Okay, so what did you do when you took charge?
He went against the whole world and
No, he didn't.
brought the greatest economic comeback in the 20th century. That's what Hitler did.
Now, first of all, that economic comeback you're talking about was all based on debt. It was all based on foreign credit, and it was all based on the artificial propping up of the military-industrial complex, meaning the only way it could be paid off is by paying the debt that it was borrowed on and the interest through looting Eastern Europe to pay for all of it. So, no, it wasn't a great economic comeback. It was a short-term bubble that they were banking on they could avoid the bubble popping by looting all the resources of Eastern Europe and taking it over. So you're wrong about that. The so-called economic mirror. I mean, every single accomplishment attributed to Hitler was from the Weimar era. The Autobahn was already being planned by the Weimar government before Hitler took power, for example. So what did he really accomplish, actually?
What? The Weimar era?
Yes,
So wait, wait,
The Weimar
wait.
government,
Do you acknowledge? Do you
Hitler's
acknowledge that the Treaty of Versailles
okay.
economically fucked up Germany?
Hitler's government is just the Weimar government plus terrorism and military adventurism, and
Okay,
obviously genocide and stuff, whatever. But that's literally it. It's in terms of economic policy, there was just huge continuity, and Hitler took power to maintain that continuity. Actually,
no, he didn't. Hitler industrialized just like
no, he
Napoleon
did
did.
not
Because
industrialize
when
a
you're facing a
no.
hostile Western fucking enemies, you have to prioritize military.
But they weren't hostile. They weren't hostile. They didn't do a damn thing. They didn't lift a finger against him until he invaded Poland, and that was just officially they lifted a finger. They didn't send troops to
This is some
Poland.
revisionist history, bro. Like, dude, I don't agree with your retelling of things, bro.
I know you don't. You don't agree with me because I don't have enough clout to make
That's
the
not
impression.
it, bro. I don't care about fucking clout, man.
If I had 6,000 viewers right now, you would agree with me. You
No,
don't
I
agree with me
literally,
because
dude,
I don't have enough authority.
okay, I think you have way better positions than Destiny and Hassan. Like, what the hell?
Right.
And they have more clout than you. Like, I don't give a shit about clout, bro.
Right, but the community that you're loyal to, whichever one it is, you're loyal to it because it has the clout.
I think a lot of your critiques, especially about like Hitler, is just like disingenuous. It's just like
because you're part of an online.
No, it feels like you're on a sports team. You're like, oh, Stalin good, Hitler bad. Like,
you're
nuanced.
You're part of a political community where the saying that I'm better than Hassan and Destiny, it's credible, but it's not an independent opinion you're forming. That's the difference.
That's independent. I do my own analysis.
No, you don't.
Because I've seen the conclusions you've come to that are similar to some of my conclusions. I've decided that you're.
Can I ask you a question? Why are you a white nationalist if you're Mexican?
I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not. I don't even ascribe to any of these political.
You see how I knew you were Mexican?
I'm not Mexican though.
Well, you're Latino, right?
No.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
What are you, Hawaiian?
Okay, don't worry about it.
No, you're
why
okay.
You're Latino. Why is that relevant to the conversation? Why is that relevant to the conversation, though?
Because why are you into this dumbass shit if you're literally a Latino?
Dude, I'm into the truth. I care about the truth, and like I want a nuanced perspective on things. Your perspective is just
we know it's
Hitler bad.
Listen. We've exhausted the conversation enough to know it's not about truth. It's not about facts.
It literally is about.
So there's some other reason that's drawing you to this nonsense, and I don't get what it is.
Because why are you like so? I don't know, bro. So paranoid, bro. Like,
I'm not paranoid. I'm just saying, like.
Yes, you are, man. I'm just having a conversation with you. You're like, oh, there's an ulterior motive. Like, there's.
I'm not saying that's not paranoia. I think there's a diagnosis going on because you're Mexican and you're literally following white nationalists. Why?
I'm not, bro. I'm literally looking at the reality of things. See, that's a pathology on you. Like, you hate Hitler based just because you're fucking Middle Eastern. Like, because
I don't need to be Middle Eastern because my enemies claim that I'm half German. So
dude, that's literally you. You have a class worldview, so in your eyes, you're like, oh, I don't want these Nazis to look down on me. They're not better than me.
But hold on, I can pass.
That's to you.
Hold on,
you're projecting that on me.
But I can pass as white because my enemies claim I'm half German and my name is Adam. So why would I need? I don't need to be Arab. I can pass. I can pretend to be half German. That's literally what people say about me.
But Haas, will you admit that like a lot of your movement is based off of like people who just hate other white people because they view them as thinking they're better than them? It comes from
because most of my movement is white.
Okay, I don't know how you come to that.
It's just that we don't exclude others, so we get everyone else too. But like, it's mainly white people. It's like probably like 50% white or 60% white. I don't know. But, we just don't exclude others, so everyone joins in. But, like, you don't understand that there's a bunch of white people here, dude. You're like...
Dude, I don't... Dude, a lot of your critiques feels like they come from a place of, like you perceiving...
Right, but like, 60% of my community is white, and you're Mexican, so what are you talking about?
Yeah, but this whole idea that you're trying to say, oh, I have an ulterior motive and I somehow revere these authorities, that's
I don't
not me.
understand why, if you're brown or whatever, why are you like so into this dumb shit if it's clearly not because of facts?
Okay, so no, dude, the facts are not with you, buddy. But
Yeah, they
dude,
are. They
no,
definitely
they
are.
are, bro.
They
They fucking
definitely
are.
are. They definitely
No,
are
they
with me.
are, bro.
All
You
right,
just,
the whole squad. Bro, you don't understand. The gang don't agree with this stuff, man. You can't say that shit around them. They're gonna say no, you're wrong, because we want to believe. I mean, why do you want to believe the things you believe in? It's clearly you desire to believe in them.
no, it's a fact. It's just a
Okay,
fact.
what's the fact? Can you tell us the fact so we can judge it?
Bro, you're the one sitting here saying Hitler was an agent of the British. Like, ask any credible historian.
He
Like, they'd
was.
laugh at that, bro. Like,
Okay, the
that's
credible bring the credible historian here to laugh at me, and let me ask him then.
like, bro, dude, that's like, you actually believe that? Like,
Yeah, I'm actually a Stalinist. You know that? Like, I'm actually a communist. Like,
dude,
like the
I'm
real thing.
actually crying, bro.
Yeah, like it's a real thing,
Dude,
bro.
this
The
is
whole
this is a LARP, bro.
bro, the group chat, they're not having none of this. The group chat ain't having none of this. What? That's not what the guy with 1 million followers said. What are you talking about? That's not what my authority leader said. What are you talking about? That's not credible. Dude, you don't even get money from billionaires. What the hell? You have a position that's like not based on billionaires throwing money at you? What in the world?
Haas, I know you feel the
What
need
the
to.
hell?
I know
You
you
don't
feel the
get
need to
support
live.
from like all these institutions and
I know you feel the
ruling.
need to live your life under like some guidance by some father figure like Stalin, but it's okay, bro. You can just be a real motherfucker and just analyze the situation without just these petty fucking grievances, bro. Like, let's just look at
What
Hitler
grievances do you
objectively.
imagine I have?
I just feel like you have this hierarchical class mindset where it's like if you
My
give in to any
my personal class position is totally fine. I
if
don't
you
have any
give in to
personal class grievances at all. I can go back to law school anytime I want and just be a lawyer, dude. I'm fine.
dude, Haas, I understand your psychology, bro. Like,
All right,
it's just I don't know, man.
but you're not exhibiting any understanding. That's the
I
issue.
literally do. Like, I probably understand you better than you understand yourself. I'm gonna be honest. So there's that.
That's fine, but how is that relevant when you can't show anything for it?
No, because it's just like like a lot of your positions. It's just like it doesn't come from somewhere that's like authentic, bro. I don't know. Like how can you sit here and say Hitler was an agent of the
I think
British?
that's interesting. You don't think my positions are authentic?
No, I think you believe them, but I think like what informs or it like makes you get to those beliefs or choose this worldview is just like it's
Yeah,
just based in like fucking some weird
like
hierarchical fucking
belief,
petty shit.
like
Yeah,
belief, right? Like I actually
bro,
believe it.
dude. But you think that I have some ulterior motive? Like you've just been projecting on me this whole time. Like I respect authority.
I'll
That's
mute.
you.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you because I don't want to deal with this. But no, it's just that I've been talking to you for hours, and I feel like we're kind of looping when it comes to understanding why your position is incorrect using reason. That's why we're looping, is because I've explained it to you many times. So now that we've done that, now that we've actually exhausted like my ability to communicate with you in terms of making rational arguments, now I'm perplexed and wonder like, okay, it's clear that you're part of some political community where there's an authority figure you respect more than me because that figure has more credibility based on being legitimized by other forces, having a head. It can be many things. But it's just the fact. Now what I'm interested in is why? Why that community did you I mean, it clearly I'm not asking why you're not part of infrared. Infrared is not for sheep, it's for shepherds. The people that come to infrared are people who are not easily swayed. They're people who have to think for themselves, who have to engage in critical thinking, who have to form opinions based on what they think. And they're people who are loyal to me because they choose to be. They make a real sovereign decision to be loyal to Haas based on conclusions they draw independently themselves for reasons that are accountable to themselves. And I don't think you fit the personality of someone who's a leader. I think you're more of a follower. So I understand why you're not part of this community. But of all the other communities you could have chosen, of all the other shepherds you could have allowed to sheep you, why is it that you're in the far right one if you're Mexican? That's all I wanted to ask you. And it wasn't a loaded question. It wasn't a gotcha. I'm genuinely curious. Go ahead.
Pause. You're the sheep, though. You're the one who needs Marx to hold your hand through life.
But Marx is dead. So
Yeah,
if I'm this loyal to a dead,
books as an idol. His books are an idol to you.
Even if that was true,
you're a sheep, Paz. You're a sheep. Isn't that why you can't even finish your book, because you don't have anything to contribute to fucking Marxism, Leninism, bro? You're the sheep, bro.
But I already have 100,000 words. Okay,
I
have to mute you. I already have over 100,000 words to. I have already contributed to it. I just haven't finished it. So, but you're saying I'm a sheep because I'm a devoted Marxist, but Marx is dead. And even if he was an idol, it takes independent willpower on my part to continue being devoted to Marx because he's not actually alive to act as a shepherd figure for me. So what you're saying is a little ridiculous. Go ahead, I'll unmute you.
Bro, your whole position is based off of fucking Marxism, Leninism.
Right.
You're like,
yeah.
You can't call me a sheep, dude. My whole position is independent. I'm not affiliated with any group. I just seek the truth.
Yeah, but you understand there's no established Marxist-Leninist authorities in America to tell me what to do. So if I'm a Marxist-Leninist, I'm definitely not a sheep because I'm assuming a position which can only be maintained based on my own conviction, belief, and willpower. So it's just a silly argument you're making. I don't want to repeat myself again. Anything else?
So, according to you, if I'm far right, like, what from the establishment makes me believe this shit?
It doesn't need to be from the establishment. It just needs to be an established community online.
Okay, so communism is not an established community online?
No. Not at all.
You didn't start your position from, like, being in leftist circles?
When I first hit live, no. Not when I first hit live. Prior to that, I had no career and no presence. So any involvement I had with leftists before, and it was very minuscule, by the way, but any involvement I had with leftism was irrelevant because it didn't help me at all. It didn't contribute to anything.
I don't know how you can say I'm a sheep and you're not, bro.
You're a sheep and I'm not because you can't defend your position based on your own.
I've literally
arguments.
defended it with arguments. You're just saying no and giving the most ridiculous fucking.
No, the reason
takes.
I think you're a sheep is because when confronted with arguments, you just go back to laughing about how you find it preposterous that I can claim Hitler's a British agent without actually addressing why you think that's ridiculous. Which leads me to believe that the reason you believe it's ridiculous for me to say that Hitler is a British agent is because other people find it ridiculous, and that's why you find it worth laughing.
Hans, I would laugh because it'd be like you telling me the sky was red. It'd be like you telling me the sky was.
We can roll back the footage of the stream and see you clearly say, while you were laughing hysterically, that any credible historian would have dismissed me, which further reinforces my view that the reason you believe the things you do is because other people do, not you. You literally referenced such other people, credible historians. I rest my case. Go ahead.
Yeah, to highlight the fact that this is this is laughable. That it would be like me saying, bro.
Precisely. You took the words out of my mouth. That it's laughable. It's laughable because you have appraised that other people would laugh at it. Never mind what's true, based on what you can decide for yourself. It's laughable. Credible authorities would laugh at it. I'm not disagreeing. I just think that makes you a sheep. And me a shepherd. My community is of shepherds. We are trying to reach sheep like you. In order to reach sheep like you, we have to get organized, and we have to do it in an organized way. We shepherds have to be organized to reach sheep like you. And hopefully, once we're successful at our organizing, once we've gotten our shit together, we can pull sheep like you to the status of shepherds and get people like even like you to think for themselves. I don't think there's anything I can say in this VC to turn you into a shepherd, though. In order to turn you into a shepherd, we have to build authority in real life. Once we do that, once we've gotten the credibility and the authority, we also have the authority and the credibility to allow for people to think for themselves like you. This is precisely why Slavoj Žižek and Jacques Lacan talk about the fundamental role of the master in analysis. You can't just say, I'm going to get rid of the master, the discourse of the master. I'm just going to escape it and become a free person. No. Same thing with a master-slave dialectic. You will always have a master. So we will be your master, but we will be the master that teaches you how to free yourself. And we can't do that until we build the necessary authority and power. The masters you follow want you to remain a sheep. I can't get through to you. You're a sheep. You're following these guys. I can't get through to you in a VC. The only way I'm ever going to be able to get through to you is when I build objectively a form of power and authority that you can respect as a sheep. So you have to understand this is why I'm talking to you in the way I do. I've given up on the ability to persuade you of anything. I understand what kind of person you are. No big deal. I could have been a sheep at one point in my life. There's people here who could have been sheep at one point in your life. But you are sheep and we're shepherds. It's as simple as that. Anything else?
Bro, you keep projecting this shit on me. But you know what's really funny? You know what I just realized? You're trying to convince yourself that you're not a sheep, which is the funniest part. Like, your whole audience
my
are
shepherd?
fucking sheeps.
Who's
You're
my
trying to
shepherd?
convince yourself that you're not a shepherd.
All right.
That you are.
Who are my sheep? Who are my shepherds? Go ahead.
You're trying to convince yourself that you are a shepherd. You're not, Haas.
Okay, who are my shepherd? If I'm a sheep, who are my shepherds?
Your shepherd is Marx, these idols.
A guy who's dead?
Yeah, the idols are there.
How can
bro.
a shepherd be? How can I have a
Those are your
shepherd who's dead?
Are shepherds not thought leaders who give you your
Who actively
your world-
exercise and maintain authority based on the merits of their position in the real world? Yes. Marx is dead. He has no such position.
So now it's just limited to the real world. You see how you just make the definition so fucking retarded that you can just exclude yourself?
Okay,
from
who? See, here's the thing. You may get away with saying, because Marx is credible among certain institutions, because he's made a name for himself, that's why I'm a sheep and I listen to Marx. But if my interpretation of Marx differs from all of them, who is maintaining that authority? Who's maintaining the authority? I am. I have an interpretation of Marx that allows me to recognize the authority that he has independently. I'm not just saying, oh, everyone in the university recognizes the authority of Marx. I'm going to the source. I'm understanding why he deserves the authority he has based on his relationship to the history of thinking and the history of the world in general. Go ahead.
Haas, your position on Marx is not unique. Russia, a lot of Russians share, a lot of the Chinese share.
I agree. But
So-
I don't live in Russia or China. I live in America.
Like, so your contention is people cannot have influence,
No,
cannot have
no.
bigger...
People, listen, you're a sheep in a way that I'm not.
Dude, you say it enough times, it might be true.
No, because a sheep is not about someone plenty of people influence me, but none of them are able to control the range of what I consider an acceptable or permissible thought. That's on the merits of what I recognize, not others.
Bro, Haas, I come to my own conclusion based off of my
Based on
own
what other people
analysis.
think and say. I agree.
Based off of my own analysis. Your whole position is based off of what some dead
That's
guy
what
said
just
200 years ago.
just like Hitler, that's what you claim. It's not what you do.
Oh my god, dude.
Anything else? We're going in
Pause.
circles. Anything else?
Okay. This like the whole fact that you're bringing up this sheep and shepherd distinction just reveals your psychology, bro. Like, like you view the world in like this hierarchical fucking weird shit, and it's like
Okay.
that doesn't apply to me.
What's wrong
because
with
I'm a man.
hierarchy? Who said there's something wrong with hierarchy?
Yeah, but the problem is like there are people who are trying to be shepherds, and there are people who are just born fucking.
Yeah, you may be
shepherds.
trying, but we can't help you right now because you're too
No,
far gone.
Haas, I'm born as a sovereign being. You're trying to become like
No, no one is born
that's the
sovereign.
truth.
No one is born
Yes,
sovereign.
there's something called the will, and there are humans who are imbued with willpower, and you're just not one of them.
The will refers to a range of pre-established possibilities set before you by precedent.
Nah, the will is
And if you do something that you didn't consider possible before you did it, it's called an accident.
no.
Don't try to outclass me, sir. I have you checkmated in this game of chess.
No, you don't, bro.
To be honest with you,
I'm
you,
better than you at psych.
listen. To be honest with you, dude, I'm literally toying with you. Like I'm a tiger and you're just a mouse, and I'm literally just playing with you, running circles around you. You're being so devastated, and I'm just like a dick. And it almost makes me like a retard because like what I'm just like jacking myself off by like slapping you around. But I'm doing it because I'm a narcissist. Because I'm wearing a really cool suit and I look really cool and I sound really cool when I say these things. And I'm almost using you as practice for when I actually have real debate opponents. You know, where it really does matter, where it matters for my career. But this is just narcissism on my part. Like, I just kind of like doing this. You know, I'm kind of LARPing. That's what it is. I'm LARPing. Right now, I'm LARPing. That's all you are to me. You're just like, you're just an actor in my LARP. You know, you're playing airsoft with me right now, and I'm destroying you. And I'm hungry now. So you say something new now, or else we're gonna terminate this quick. Go ahead.
Dude, Haas, I own you, bro. I can literally shatter your whole fucking worldview, bro, if I wanted to.
Maybe you can, but you have proven your inability to in this.
I have. You just disagree because you have.
So you
this
haven't. So you
animosity.
haven't. So you, I'm just
literally
running
have.
circles around you, dude.
You know what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
You're gonna
what?
remember this conversation
Yeah.
where I said things that they're really pressed into your fucking being, bro. You're gonna remember because I know I stung, bro, and I can keep
Yeah.
going. Like I know what ticks. I know that now you're cope laughing. I know what ticks you off, buddy. I know what ticks you off, buddy. I know your pain points, buddy.
Sure.
Don't try with me.
Don't
Try with me before I reveal it to all your fucking audience.
Don't let go. Don't
It's
let go
over,
too
bro.
quickly.
It's so over for you. I broke the con. I broke the con. It's so over for this dude, bro.
Dude.
I wanted to come here and be civil with you. It's so over for you, bro. I broke the con. It's over. It's over for Haas. You've never met an opponent like me, haven't you? Huh? It's so over for you, bro. It's so over. It's so over.
I'm sorry.
It's so fucking over.
My God.
It's so
Oh
over.
man.
Yeah, keep loud. Keep
Can you-
loud.
Can you guys imagine if this shit ended my career? I would kill myself. Oh my God.
It's not gonna end your career, but you're
Can
gonna.
you guys imagine if like this? This
is
is the final nail in the coffin. This guy. Oh my God.
Yeah, just keep clapping.
All right, dude. What was I gonna say?
Yeah, just.
You.
It's okay, Oz. It's okay. I know
you definitely were speaking a lot, but not much else.
Bro, usually, Haas, when people come up in here, you just bitch them around, but like, I went back and forth.
But this time it's different, right?
It's over with you.
Oh, it's over.
because you know I stung deep and I was making points. You had to respect it. It is what it is.
How deep though? Because it's kind of subject, like, maybe like
Haas, I literally like
it's
I
like
put
it's like
I put
Zeno's paradox. Like you can
Haas, I put
you can be
Lacan
infinitely.
I put Lacan to shame. I understand the human psyche better than Lacan, bro. I put that fucker to shame. And you know I'm right.
Um,
But
you
anyways.
claimed that I was a sheep because I'm a Marxist, even though Marx
Bro,
is dead.
yo, infrared, I just bitched the con. I said I would, I did it. It is what it is. I don't even hate you, Haas, but like
You know
I
what
just
you
had to
sound
do
like
it.
right now?
What?
You sound like a crackhead talking on the street to himself. That's what
The
you
thing is,
sound
like,
like.
it's so funny because like the type of person I am, whatever you say to me, it just like falls off my skin like water, bro. It doesn't
No, like
even
I'm actually being
it
real.
doesn't even it doesn't
Like
even
you
touch
actually
my
sound
fucking
like a crackhead babbling to themselves on the sidewalk.
yeah, just keep coping, buddy. Just keep coping. It's over with you.
Are you a Latin king? Are you part of the Latin Kings? No disrespect, but are you, like, to the organization? I mean,
Haas, I bitched you, bro. You got bitched.
bro. Somebody said you're part of the Latin Kings. I just want to know.
Dude, Haas, you got bitched. I'm gonna go fact check all your fucking Hitler bullshit, and I'm gonna
Why
laugh.
are you so attached as a Mexican? Why are you so attached to Hitler? I don't understand.
Not even about Hitler, dude. Okay, so would you say the same shit to Candace Owens? Is Candace Owens like some weirdo for like going on Hitler tirades now?
She's getting kind of close with the lies she's saying about Russian troops in Eastern Europe or whatever, but I would confront her with the same thing if she said it to me, yeah.
Okay. Do you realize like most people are anti-Zionist, right? And most people would like teeter on like anti-Jewish
What does that have to do
talking
with the
point.
truth?
Yeah, but like you're acting like it's unfounded for anyone who's not white to harbor these views.
I just find it bizarre and I struggle to understand it. And
How is it
it's
bizarre? Israel is committing a genocide, and people usually blame. Or it's just like people blaming
So
white people
Hitler
for colonialism.
so Israel is committing a genocide.
Yeah,
Therefore, the guy who committed genocide against 30 million Russians is good.
I mean, is that no? I'm not saying I'm not ascribing if he's good or not, but like that's why there is a resurgence of Hitler on you see it on social media. People are looking back, even Muslims.
Maybe, but that doesn't mean it's correct.
Okay, but like it's still a reality. Like it's not unfounded.
Yeah, it's a lack of education and ignorance.
Like, okay, so if people investigate and they're coming to these conclusions that hey, maybe Hitler did have a point. Like,
That's the issue is that it involves no investigation. With the reason why there's a proliferation of popularity of Hitler among anti-Zionists on social media is because liberal media actually did a great deal to lionize indirectly Hitler. Even if they're casting him as a villain, they made him this kind of profound, strong personality. The kind of epitome of evil within the liberal worldview. And people are looking at the hypocrisy of liberalism in practice, especially its alignment with Zionism, and they're just kind of assuming what the polar opposite of that they think is. And that's why. And it's also obviously related to the crimes of the Zionist entity, where, in great part, Norman Finkelstein pointed this out, the atrocities of Hitler against the Jews have been weaponized by Zionists in order to defend the actions and the existence of Israel. And people have also had enough of that. So they're overcorrecting by doing something that's actually false and wrong, by trying to defend Hitler and redeem him, because if this is the villain upon which Zionist ideology justifies itself against, including liberal ideology, then they are falsely drawing the conclusion that he must actually have been a good guy after all. But this is actually a completely misguided viewpoint.
why is it misguided?
Because Hitler was actually a tool of the very same liberal hegemony that was responsible for the creation of the Zionist entity itself.
God. Oh my god.
If you don't respond with something that's like an argument, then you're getting.
So that's how you justify why these people like
Yeah,
Hitler.
that's
Because
correct. Can you get? I'm hungry now. So anything else?
we can have another debate another day
All
when
right, bye. Anyway, guys, been a long stream.